Welcome on into week number 3, game number 2, featuring the Broad Street Bats versus the Strikeouts. The Broad Street Bats are 1-1 on the season. The Strikeouts are 0-2. If you haven't watched the previous game, go back and do so. What a fabulous game that was. A lot of action there. Let's get right into it as we start off with the away team Broad Street Bats and their lineup. Leading off, left fielder Ricky Henderson. Second baseman, batting second, Chase Utley. Batting third, playing center field, Carlos Beltran. The cleanup spot belongs to the third baseman, Ron Santo. Playing shortstop, batting fifth, Jimmy Rollins. The first baseman, batting sixth, Brian Banks. The Gold Glover in right field, Sal Frelick. Batting eighth behind the plate today, Patrick Bailey. And your DH for the Broad Street Bats, Nick Lofton. Let's look at the Strikeouts starting lineup. First up, the center fielder, Mike Trout. Batting second, playing shortstop, Cal Ripken Jr. Batting third, at the catcher position, Gold Glover Yadier Molina. In left field, Colton Cowser. Batting fifth, playing first base, Bryce Harper. At third base, batting sixth, Donovan Solano. In right field, batting seventh, Michael Toglia. The DH for the Strikeouts is Nicky Lopez. And the second baseman for the Strikeouts is Mike Gallego. Let's look at the starters for today. For the Broad Street Bats, they will have Gerrit Cole, 6 command, -1 defense, 17 outs, so a big righty. 6 innings that he can go. On the other side, you have Yamamoto, who is very similar, 17 outs, 6 command. So Cole will be 6 command all around. Yamamoto will be 6 command against right-handed bats, but against lefties and switch hitters, he will be 7. And for him, that'll be big in this game, as the Broad Street Bats have 6 of their 9 batters will be either lefties or switch hitters. Also, a big matchup of SP3, so the third starting pitchers are normally not the best, but these guys will have some big command. Not sure we'll see a ton of runs unless they don't pitch well. But let's head on over to the field as we get ready for the start of the game. This is a big game for both teams. Still, a 15-game season is a long time. But for the Strikeouts, they do not want to start out their season 0-3. The Broad Street Bats would love to get a second win underneath their belt. We're playing in the beautiful Williamsport today, so this is the third of 3 mats that we have. So one of the 3 games of each slate or week will feature the Williamsport field you see here. One of them will feature the regular home and away, as you saw in the previous game, and then the other one will be the Philadelphia Stadium that we have come to know and love thus far. With all that, Yamamoto is on the mound throwing his warm-up pitches, and he will be facing the leadoff man, Ricky Henderson, to lead things off. Everybody is set, ready to go. Let's play ball. This will be a 6 versus 14. The pitcher is set, and Yamamoto's pitch will be a 20 total. Henderson will swing, and that'll be a ground ball over to the shortstop, Cal Ripken, and he will pick it up, throw it over to first, and that'll be the first out. One away here for Chase Utley, the second baseman coming up to bat. 7 versus 12. Yamamoto's pitch will be a mistake, and we have resorted to rolling with the power die on the mat for this slate of games. We'll see how it goes. Didn't go for super well for the last guy who used it, and that'll be a 12, a single for Utley. So a mistake pitch single from Utley has him on with 1 out. The defenses for both teams, as we think about that, for the defending strikeouts right now, their battery is 14, so not a whole lot of potential stealing for the Broad Street Bats. Infield of 13, outfield of 11, so one of the better defensive units out there. And for the Broad Street Bats, they have just a slightly better fielding. Their battery's only 10. Gerrit Cole does have that -1 defense to add on to the gold gloving Patrick Bailey's 11, so it's only a 10. But the infield's a 13, the outfield's a 12. So big pitchers going, big defenses. So this should be what you would think a low-scoring affair. Carlos Beltran, the center fielder, is up. This will be a 7 versus 12. Yamamoto will have a 15 total, and whoa, that was almost a 20, but Beltran will hit a fly ball out to right field for the second out of the inning as Toglia makes the catch. 6 versus 13 as the third baseman Ron Santo comes up to the plate. 6 versus 13. The pitch from Yamamoto will be a 2, so advantage Santo. And the swing from Santo is a 9, so that'll just be a walk on his chart. The first walk issued by Yamamoto. And that'll be 2 on with 2 outs. Outfield will come in as Utley does have good speed at second. 2 outs. The shortstop Jimmy Rollins is up to bat. 7 versus 12. The pitch will be a 3, so advantage Rollins. So back-to-back advantages given up by Yamamoto. Will it hurt him? Rollins will be out on his own chart as he hits a fly ball out to the shortstop. And Yamamoto will get out of the inning with Rollins getting out on his own chart. I'm not sure if that's just going to be a league-wide thing of just a lot of low rolls on their own charts, because I feel like the amount of batter chart outs some of these games have had has been absurd. Now, he had 8 outs or 7 outs, so it's not like it was a guarantee he'd get a hit, but it just seems that it's more often than not that a lot of these guys get out, especially with those in scoring position. Head to the bottom of the first. Gerrit Cole is out there, ready to go. 6 versus 13 as the dangerous and speedy center fielder Mike Trout is up. 6 versus 13, and Cole will have an 18 total, but Trout will get a pitcher chart single to lead things off. And so the runner will be aboard with nobody out. We talked about how the battery for the Broad Street Bats is not very good. And 1 second as we have some technical difficulties here. And so the battery for the Broad Street Bats is only a 10. So Trout is going to try to swipe second base here. It'll be a 10 versus 25 as Trout attempts to steal second. 10 versus 25. The throw from Bailey will be gunned. So Trout will be thrown out trying to steal. The defense needed a 16 or higher, and they got it. So a huge out for Patrick Bailey early on here, and Gerrit Cole can now pitch to Cal Ripken. 6 versus 12, and 20 total. Ripken will ground the ball over to the third baseman, Ron Santo, who will toss it over to Banks for the second out of the first inning. 2 outs for Yadier Molina, the Gold Glover catcher. 6 versus 12. And that'll be a 24 total from Cole. And Molina will do the same as Cal did. He'll roll it over to Santo, who picks it up and fires it over to Banks. And that's a 1-2-3 inning for Gerrit Cole. We head to the top of the first inning. The score 0-0. Yamamoto back out there for the second inning. This will be a 7 versus 12 matchup. 7 versus 12. The pitch from Yamamoto will be a 25 total. And Banks will roll the ball over to the second baseman, which is Mike Gallego, who tosses it to Harper, 1 away. Another 7 versus 12 as Yamamoto is set to face the right fielder, Sal Frelick. Yamamoto, almost a mistake pitch, but a tie will go to Frelick. Frelick does have a lot of outs on his chart. The swing from Frelick is a single that he will poke into right field. And that is a runner on first with 1 out, And they're trying to decide if Patrick Bailey should swing or if he should bunt. They're going to let Bailey swing as he will have a 7 versus 12. So it's not the worst. I mean, it'll be a 6 versus 10 for Lofton with maybe Sal on second. So they'll let Bailey swing here early on. 7 versus 12. Yamamoto's pitch will be a 19 total. And Bailey will pop out to the right fielder, Michael Toglia, 2 away. Nick Lofton comes up to the plate. Sal Frelick does have a 23 stealing. It's not the worst, but against a 14 battery, it's not very smart for him to try to go for it. The DH, Nick Lofton, this will be a 6 versus 10. Yamamoto will squeak by with an 11 total. Lofton will hit a deep fly ball to left field. Going back on it is Colton Cowser, but he will make the grab at the wall for the 3rd out of the second inning. So Yamamoto does allow a single to Frelick, but is able to not let that affect him as he gets Bailey and Lofton out. Gerrit Cole back to work here in the bottom of the second. He will face the left fielder Colton Cowser, 6 versus 12. Cole's pitch will be a 13, so he just gets the advantage over Cowser. But Cowser will not let that affect him as he gets a single off the pitcher's chart as he pokes that into right field, and they will have 1 on board with nobody out. The dangerous Bryce Harper up next, 6 versus 11. Cole is set. The pitch will be advantage Cole. Harper's swing will be a ground ball. And the second baseman, Utley, will pick it up, toss it to second for 1. Rollins on the transfer will try to throw over to first. This will be a 13 versus 22. 13 versus 22, and it'll only be a 20, so Harper will be aboard on a fielder's choice with 1 out. That'll bring up third baseman Donovan Solano. Harper kind of got lucky on that one as the 13 defense is pretty legit for the Broad Street Bats. 6 versus 12. And the pitch will be a 10 total, so Solano's advantage. First one given up by Cole today. And Solano will hit a single out to left field. So 2 singles allowed now for Gerrit Cole, and the strikeouts are looking to possibly do some damage here. Harper's speed is a 19. So with no outfield in, it would be a 12 versus 22. So still pretty good odds. And 6 versus 10. They'll bring the outfield in for the right fielder, Michael Toglia. 6 versus 10. Cole is set to pitch, and he will definitely get the advantage. And Toglia's swing will be a fly ball out to right field. And that'll be 2 outs as the Gold Glover Frelick makes the grab. Nicky Lopez, the DH and 8-hole hitter, will hopefully be able to deliver for the strikeouts here. There are 2 outs. Harper on second, Solano on first. Outfield will stay in for the Broad Street Bats. 6 versus 11. Cole is set, and the pitch will be a 22 total. And Lopez will swing, and that'll be a fly ball out to right field. Frelick under it and makes the easy routine grab for the out. So the strikeouts get 2 runners on. They get 2 singles in the inning, but Cole is able to get them to fly out and will head to the top of the third, still 0-0. 5 hits total in the game so far as we go to the third inning. So we've had some action. Most of it just singles and then some outs. And as we head into the third inning, just looking back at how these teams have done so far this league, the Broad Street Bats got a loss against the Clean Cleats in Slate 1. They were up 3-2, but gave up a home run, I believe, late in the game, in the 8th maybe. And they were not able to get the win. But then in week 2, they absolutely pummeled the Base Bandits 7-1. And if I remember correctly, they were up for a lot of that game. And I think it was 7-0 for like the 6th inning on even. The Strikeouts lost a close one in 11 innings against the Base Bandits. That was a huge clutch win for them. And then in Slate 2, they took on the Bash Bros, and the Bash Bros just took them to town as Skeens really struggled in that game. I believe that was Skeens really... No, it wasn't Skeens. Who was that pitcher? Who struggled for the strikeouts in that game? No, it was Skeens, because Scooble went game 1. Yeah, Skeens really struggled that game, and they lost 6-1. So the strikeouts have only scored 3 runs total in 20 innings. So they are struggling to score. Their strength is supposed to be their pitching, and so far it hasn't been. Although 3 runs given up in 11 innings is pretty solid for them, and I think they only had given up 1 for a lot of that game for most of it. All right, we head to the top of the third now, 6 versus 14, as the leadoff man Ricky Henderson is up. The pitch from Yamamoto will be a 12 total, so advantage Henderson. Henderson puts bat to ball, and he will get a single out to left field as the leadoff runner is aboard with nobody out. Again, that 14 battery makes it really difficult, and with the 2, 3, 4 hitters due up, you don't really want to waste a potential out on stealing with not the best odds. So the second baseman, Chase Utley, will come up next. 7 versus 12. He does have good speed, so he could probably beat out a double play ball if it comes to that. 27 total from Yamamoto is definitely good enough for the advantage, but Utley will watch as ball 4 crosses the plate, and a pitcher's chart walk allows Utley to get on board. And there are 0 outs in the top of the third inning, and this is typically what the strikeouts have done, where they've just given up a lot of advantages. I mean, Yamamoto's 6 command is very good, but he's getting 7 against a lot of these guys, and he's given up 5 advantages already in this game. He will face Carlos Beltran, the center fielder. It will be a 7 versus 12. Outfield does move in. The outfield defense is an 11 for the strikeouts. So outfield in, 7 versus 12. Yamamoto, big pitch here. And it's a 2, almost a mistake. So 2 advantages already given up in this inning. And Beltran almost got the 20. A 15 will be a double for Beltran. And so he will move Henderson in to score. Utley goes over to third. So 1-0 Broad Street Bats early on here. And they have a decision of whether or not they want to send Utley. It would be an 11 versus 24. But with... so they need a 14 or higher. The odds are fine. But with nobody out, do you risk it? They are. They're going to risk it early on. They're going to send Utley. So this ball was out into right field. Toglia is going to come up with the throw. And the throw home from Toglia is an 18. So he will throw Utley out at the plate. Huge throw from Toglia there to not allow another run. So Utley is gunned at the plate for the first out of the inning. That's huge for the Broad Street Bat, or for the strikeouts. And again, I mean, they needed a 14 or higher. So you had about a 70% chance of being safe, or 65% chance of being safe. And I just want to get rid of these extra sounds that I have going on in my ears. So a huge throw. They maybe could have, but with the infield being a 13, even if it was a you know, a ground ball, still sending it would have been tough. I'm just trying to figure out how to mute these notifications that are going on in my background. Very annoying. Actually trying to play some baseball here. All right. So 1 out. Beltran on second. He's very speedy. 25 on the base running. So they are going to keep the outfield. They're going to keep the outfield in. 6 versus 13 as Santo is up to bat. He had a walk back in the first inning. 6 versus 13, a 16 total. And Santo will hit a ground ball over to the shortstop Ripken, who picks it up and tosses it over to Bryce Harper at first for the second out of the inning. And that'll bring up Jimmy Rollins. Outfield will again continue to stay in. With 2 away, 7 versus 12. Will Rollins be able to rectify the last time he was up? Well, if he's going to, he's going to have to do it on the pitcher's chart. And he will swing and miss, as that is the first punch out of the game. And Yamamoto gets a big strikeout to end the inning. So he allows 1 run on 2 hits. And we head to the bottom of the third. Broad Street Bats 1. Strikeouts 0. Again, it's so hard to manage some of those situations because, again, let's say we didn't send him. Like a ground ball, would we have sent Utley at 13 to 24? Like, that's worse odds. And then Rollins strikes out, so back-to-back outs. Like, I mean, maybe Banks could have gotten an advantage or done something, but hindsight's always 20/20. Cole is out for the bottom of the third. He'll face the 9, 1, and 2 hitters for the strikeouts. 6 versus 10. And Gallego will get the advantage here. Gallego's swing is a 20, and he will have a leadoff double. Wow. Giving up a leadoff double to the 9-hole hitter does not seem ideal for Gerrit Cole. And there is a runner immediately in scoring position. He does only have a 17. But with Trout only having 17 base running, sorry. With Trout only having a 1 on the fly ball range for a batter chart out. So it's a 1 out of 20 possibility of outfield and hurting. And the outfield will move in for the Broad Street Bats. 6 versus 13 as Cole will now have to face the top of the strikeouts order. You have to think they'll get it going at some point this season. Advantage Cole. And Trout will hit a ground ball over to the third baseman. Santo picks it up and tosses it over to first for the first out of the inning. Now, again, they can choose to try to move the runner over, but with a 13 infield, 13 versus 17, like, it just seems stupid. Outfield stays in, 6 versus 12 as Ripken Jr. comes up to bat. 6 versus 12, Cole is set, delivers, and another advantage for Cole. And Ripken with a swing and a miss. 2 away here. And again, this is what's plagued the strikeouts. They can get guys on base, but then they just struggle. Like a leadoff double from your 9-hole hitter, you can't squander that. But let's see if the catcher, Molina, will be able to do anything here. 6 versus 12, outfield stays in. Another advantage for Cole. Molina's swing is a ground ball over to the shortstop, Jimmy Rollins, and he will throw him out at first, and a leadoff walk or a leadoff double is squandered by the strikeouts. And either their team is just getting really unlucky this season so far, or they might have some bigger problems in their team makeup. Top of the fourth, 1-0. Both teams with 4 hits. 7 versus 12 as the first baseman Brian Banks comes up to bat. Advantage Yamamoto. The swing from Banks will be a fly ball out to right field. Toglia is there to make the grab, 1 away. Frelick up next, the right fielder. He had a single in the second inning, so he is 1 for 1 today. 7 versus 12. And a 19 total for Yamamoto. And Frelick swings and misses as Yamamoto gets another strikeout. That'll be his second on the day. 7 versus 12 as the catcher Patrick Bailey comes up to bat. And 13 total for Yamamoto, so he just gets the advantage. But Patrick Bailey with a single on the pitcher's chart to get a 2-out single. The 9-hole hitter, DH Nick Lofton, 6 versus 10. Yamamoto is set. He'll have a 21 total. And Lofton will hit a fly ball out to left field, where Colton Cowser will casually make the grab for a 3rd out. So Yamamoto with almost a perfect inning there, but no harm done as he gets the 4 batters to retire. Bottom of the 4th inning, still 1-0. This is where we let off the last time. Actually, both teams have had identical innings so far. The Broad Street Bats saw 5 batters come up the first inning, 4, then 5, then 4. And the Strikeouts have 3, then 5. Oh, no, just kidding. I can't count. Don't mind me. Left fielder Colton Cowser up the bat, 6 versus 12. The pitch from Cole will be a 2. So advantage Cowser, only the 3rd advantage given up by Gerrit Cole so far. And Cowser will swing, and he will hit a fly ball. Nope, a ground ball. Over to the second baseman, Chase Utley, who will toss it over to Brian Banks for the first out of the inning. And another batter chart out to lead things off. I guess we've only had, well, the Broad Street Bats have had 6 advantages with 1 batter chart out, and the Strikeouts have had 3 advantages and 1's out. So I guess those aren't bad odds. It's better this game. We're just missing those big moments so far. 6 versus 11 as Harper gets the advantage. So back-to-back advantages given up by Cole. Harper will swing, and a 17 will be a double. So with 1 out, Harper will go to second. And man, how bad does that batter chart out by Cowser feel now, because he might have been sent home or even in scoring position at 3rd base at the least. But hey, outfield will move in here, 6 versus 12, as Cole will face off against the third baseman, Donovan Solano. And that'll be a 14 total. The swing from Solano is a ground ball over to the third baseman, Santo, who throws him out at first, 2 away. Outfield stays in as Toglia comes up to bat, 6 versus 10. Strikeouts would love to make some contact here to get Harper home. And advantage Cole, so Toglia is going to need an 18 or higher to keep this inning going, and he will pop out to the right fielder, Sal Frelick. Oopsies. Sal Frelick to end the inning. And the strikeouts have had 2 instances where they've had a runner on second with no or only 1 out, and they just cannot even move the runner over. And Gerrit Cole dances out of danger yet again. Top of the 5th, 1-0 Broad Street bats. Ricky Henderson, the left fielder, is up to bat. He's 1 for 2 with a run scored. 6 versus 14, and a mistake pitch from Yamamoto. His second of the day will roll the red die for Ricky Henderson. And Henderson, that was almost a 24 again, but he will get a single to lead things off as a 15. Will allow him to get to first with Utley up again, similar to the third inning. And no one out here. 7 versus 12. Utley is 1 for 1 with a single and a walk, and he was thrown out in the third inning on a great throw. Advantage will go to Utley, so Yamamoto giving up back-to-back advantages here. Can Utley do anything with it? And a 6 will be a fly ball on his own chart. 1 out. Ugh, I just want to see hits. I just want to see a lot of hits. That's frustrating when you don't see hits. 7 versus 12 is Beltran is 1 for 2 with an RBI double in the third inning. Yamamoto will just squeak out the advantage as he gets a 13 total. Wow, but Beltran with the pitcher's chart single. And again, look at these situations where if Utley even just walked or got a single, now Beltran gets a single, and you're probably scoring a run or at least have bases loaded with no outs. Also, for the pitchers being called the strikeouts, only having 2 so far seems kind of lame. Outfield moves in for the third baseman, Ron Santo. He is 0 for 1 with a walk. 6 versus 13. And Yamamoto locks it in with the advantage. And Santo will hit a ground ball. Henderson moves to third. We got 1 out at second as Beltran is thrown out. This will be a 13 versus 21 on the throw. The transfer throw over to Harper will be a, 13 versus 21. That'll be a 22 total. And Santo hits into an inning-ending double play. And that is huge for Yamamoto, as he gives up 2 advantages in the inning and a pitcher's chart single, but he is able to dance out of danger and get the quality appearance. How? Not sure. He's given up 8 advantages through 5 innings already. He's given up 7 hits, but only 1 run allowed, as most of them have been singles. Bottom of the 5th, Gerrit Cole looks to secure the quality appearance, and he will face the 8-9-1 hitters for the strikeouts. 6 versus 11 as the DH Nicky Lopez is up. Advantage Cole. Lopez will swing, and that is a line drive smoking ball caught by Utley at second. 1 out. Six versus 10 as Gallego got the advantage last time he was up and got a leadoff double, but was left at second base. And Cole said, hey, I'm not letting that happen again. And that was kind of an in-between one, so we'll roll that again. And, of course, it always ends up being like 19 or 20, it feels like, whenever we have to re-roll those. And I never know if I should or not, but it seems like the right thing to do. So, 1 on. Gallagher now 2 for 2 on the day. Trout comes up to bat, the leadoff man. Center fielder. He is 1 for 2 with a caught stealing. 6 versus 13. And advantage Trout. And I feel like this is always what happens, because now this will probably be a home run. And Trout is going to single. And Gallagher moves to second. Trout to first. And we got 2 on with only 1 out. And I'm thinking, just looking at what options the strikeouts have at second base. Could they move someone to second if Gallagher... Yeah, their defense will take a big hit. So they'll leave Gallagher in at second. Outfield does stay in. Or will be in. And Ripken is 0 for 2 today. 6 versus 12. The pitch from Cole will be a 6. So tie goes to Ripken. So back-to-back advantage is given up. And Ripken will rip a single out into left field, which will move Gallagher to third, Trout to second. And, oh my word, this is where, again, we have decisions to make. Outfield's inside to be 12 versus 17. It just doesn't make sense. Even if we pinch ran, it'd be 12 versus, I guess 50-50 is better. Their defense will just take a big hit. Molina has a 14 base running, so it's very possible he grounds onto a double play. With the infield in, it'd be a 13 versus 22. Do they try? You know what? Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Let's stop talking about it. They're going to pinch run for Gallagher at second, which means they're not going to have him later on. But who knows how many more opportunities they're going to get. So Gallagher will come out of the game. He is the 9-hole hitter. So, oh, that made it really bad. Oh, no, it's because it's a minus because he's in there. That makes sense. Okay. So Gallagher comes out. Sorry about that. Just want to make sure we got all the right guys in position. And Victor Scott, the speedy pinch runner for all teams, actually, will be on third. They will have a defensive substitution coming in, which will be shown once the inning switches. So Molina comes up. Bases are loaded with 1 out. Infield and... Oh, well, they could turn the double play. So, actually, the infield would stay back. I already did it. Because if he hits a fly ball, we can do it. Okay. Infield will stay normal because Molina's so slow. But outfield will stay in. 6 versus 12. Molina is 0 for 2. He has hit 2 ground outs so far. 6 versus 12. And Cole will just get the advantage. And Molina will swing and miss as Cole gets his second strikeout of the day. Which brings up Colton Cowser. He is 1 for 2. He has a pitcher chart single and batter chart out. Outfield stays in. There's a big pitch here. 6 versus 12. And Cowser will have the opportunity to swing on his own chart. Cowser's swing is a 13, so he does get a single. That run will score Scott from third. So they will at minimum tie the game. And with 2 outs, oh, it's hard because Harper's up next, but Trout has such good speed. Even with the outfield in, it's going to be 12 versus 28. So they're going to send him 12 versus 28 as the right fielder and Gold Glover Sal Frelick has it. 12 versus 28, and a perfect throw. Holy smokes. Guns Trout out at the plate. Holy cow. And the Broad Street Bats get an absolute laser from Sal Frelick to throw Trout out at the plate, and that'll end the inning. And we head to the top of the 6th. It's a 1-1 game. So Cole will get the quality appearance. I just can't believe that happened. Like, they needed so 12 versus 28, so they needed a 17 or higher to get him out, and they get a perfect throw out of it. There will be a defensive substitution as Victor Scott was running for Gallego. Al Newman will come in to play second base and bat 9th. So, unfortunately for the strikeouts, they won't have that speed. They will have Doug Baker, who's close to that in speed, but they won't have Scott anymore for the later part of the game. And both pitchers getting the quality appearance. A lot of hits in this game, but a lot of great defense as well. Yamamoto will face the 5, 6, 7 hole hitters for the Broad Street Bats. In 1 second, as this is again just taking a little long to switch things over here. Internet's being a little slow. Sorry about that. Rollins so far today is 0 for 2. He's gotten a strikeout and then an out on his own chart. Seven versus 12. And the pitch from Yamamoto will be a 18 total. And Rollins will be able to watch ball 4 go by as he gets a leadoff walk. And the leadoff man will be aboard with nobody out. That is the 3rd walk issued by Yamamoto. So if he does give up another one, he will drop an inning. Banks, the first baseman, is 0 for 2, and they're thinking about bunting. Because Banks is not super fast. They're going to try it. They're going to try to bunt. Banks is going to be asked to lay down the bunt. You need a 13 or higher in 2 attempts with a possible 3rd with some stipulations to that, but it won't matter as he lays down the perfect 20 bunt. So that'll put Rollins on second base with 1 out. Outfield will move in as Rollins' base running is 25. The Gold Glover, who just made an incredible throw, Sal Frelick, he is 1 for 2. It'll be a 7 versus 12. And 15 total for Yamamoto. Frelick hits a ground ball over to the first baseman, Harper, who will just pick it up, step on first for the 2nd out. 2 away. The outfield will stay in as Patrick Bailey comes up. He is 1 for 2. 7 versus 12. Yamamoto's pitch will be a 19 total, and Bailey swings and misses. So Yamamoto picks up his 3rd strikeout and gets out of that one with only allowing the leadoff walk from Rollins. It feels like both of these pitchers have either just had a lights-out inning or struggled. Nothing really in between. The first baseman, Bryce Harper, comes up to bat as we go to the bottom of the 6th. He had a double back in the 5th inning. Nope, back in the 4th inning. Again, reading is hard. He is 1 for 2. 6 versus 11 and a 21 total for Cole. Harper will swing and ground the ball over to the first baseman, Banks, who gets it, steps on first, 1 away. Solano is 1 for 2 today. The 3rd baseman is ready. Cole is set. He delivers. Another 21 for Cole, but Solano will drill that one into left field, and he will get a one-out single as he gets a pitcher's chart hit. Again, is this where we can bunt above Lopez? Taglia's got some power and some pop, so let's let him, in case he gets the advantage. Swing, 6 versus 10. Taglia is 0 for 2. Advantage Cole, and Taglia's swing will be a line drive caught by the second baseman Chase Utley. 2 outs now for the DH Nicky Lopez. Lopez 0 for 2. 6 versus 11. And, oh man, Gerrit Cole just gets the advantage as Lopez dribbles the ball over to Utley, who will just run it over to first himself to make the 3rd out of the inning. So again, there's been basically base runners in almost all the innings. Actually, I think every inning has had a base runner. But neither pitcher is really giving up much more than a walk here, a little single there, other than, again, like kind of 2 big innings. And then both those innings had huge throws home that have kept this a 1-run game so far. Well, it's 1-1, but it was a one-run game. We head to the top of the 7th. Yamamoto back out there for his probable last inning of work. He is set to face the 9, 1, and 2-hole hitters. He has struggled against the top of the lineup, but against the bottom, he's really been locked in. This will be 6 versus 10. Lofton is 0 for 2. He's flown out twice. Advantage Yamamoto, and Lofton will fly out to left field as Colton Cowser will get Lofton out for the 3rd time today. Henderson is up. He's 2 for 3 today, 6 versus 14. And Yamamoto gets the advantage against the dangerous leadoff man, and Ricky Henderson will ground the ball over to Ripken at shortstop, who fires it over to first in time for the 2nd out of the inning. Which brings up Utley, who is 1 for 2. He had a mistake pitch single in the 1st, a pitcher chart walk in the 3rd, and then a hitter's chart out in the 5th. So he's literally done basically everything you can kind of do here. A 27 total from Yamamoto. He is locked and loaded, ready to go. And Utley grounds the ball over to Harper, who will just grab it, step on first for a 1-2-3 clean inning from Yamamoto. That will most likely end his day. I haven't really looked at the bullpen situation. But if that is the end of Yamamoto's day, he went 7 innings, allowed 7 hits. He did throw 2 mistake pitches, but only 1 run allowed, only 3 strikeouts, and 3 walks. Faced 29 batters. Again, him and Cole have done pretty much the same thing, where they've allowed a lot of traffic, just hasn't had a ton of extra base hits in this game. Al Newman will be up to bat. He's in for the second baseman Gallego, who was pinch run for. So the infield for the strikeouts is down to an 11, as Newman isn't as strong defensively as Gallego is. And a 11 total will just give Gerrit Cole the advantage, and Newman makes his presence felt very early on, as he will get a single to lead things off. And this is where we said, like, the bunting and pinch running, but they don't have any other second baseman, really. They could try to figure something out, but you're not going to do that with Trout up. Trout is 2 for 3. Both were singles. A huge throw home. Saw him get out last time. 6 versus 13. Advantage Cole, and a single from Mike Trout will be back-to-back 19s rolled by the home team strikeouts, and Cole all of a sudden has 2 guys on with nobody out. Now I feel like I have to see what other options they have at second base. They could go down to another... shoot. Man, I'm so bad in these situations. What's better for them? Scoring a run? Yep, probably. Because it'll make the outfield come in, so they'll just do it. They'll do it. Doug Baker's going to come in and sub for Al Newman, and he'll stay in at second base. So, back-to-back substitutions at second base for the strikeouts. They won't be able to pinch run for anybody else, really. They do have Brian De La Cruz, but he'd have to be a DH, which I guess technically you could put him at DH and then kick out whoever's there now in Lopez, but so Doug Baker will be on second now, which makes the outfield come in because he has a 20 base running, and you don't want to give up a leading run. 6 versus 12 as Ripken is 1 for 3 on the day. Cole's pitch, that was a 9 anyway. 19, advantage him. A ground ball is hit by Ripken. Doug Baker will go to third. Trout is thrown out at second. The transfer from Rollins to Utley is successful. Utley's going to fire over to first. This is going to be a 13 versus 20. It'd be a huge, yep, and another perfect throw. The defense came to play. That's only 2 outs. I really thought for a second that was 3, but that is still a big double play from them because it would be corners with 1 out. So Baker is at third. All the defenses will remain normal. So if Molina can somehow single here, he will score the go-ahead run as of right now. 6 versus 12. Molina is 0 for 3. And Molina will hit a deep fly ball to left field. That ball is going, but it will be caught by Ricky Henderson, the Gold Glover, for the third out. And the strikeouts squander yet again another opportunity. And we go to the top of the 8th inning. The score is 1-1. Cole's day is done. He did allow 12 hits. 10 of them were singles. Crazy. Both teams have just left. I mean, the strikeouts have left 8 on base, and the Broad Street bats 7. Seems like both teams can get singles to start the inning, but then they can't do anything after that. And that'll take us to the bullpen for the strikeouts. And as we look at the bullpen options for the strikeouts, they do not want Yamamoto to keep going. The only guy that really can't go is Fernando Rodney, and that's probably a good thing for them as they have really struggled against Rodney. Or Rodney has really struggled. So their options are Ginkel, King, and Zerb, all of them completely fresh. It'll most likely be a lefty. And do they go to the big lefty? This is more of the meat of the order. But they'll probably want a lefty for later on. So they'll go to Chad Zerb. Zerb is a mighty fine pitcher. He is a lefty, 5 commands, 17 outs. His defensive metrics are very good as he has a +3 defense. So the battery will remain 14 for the strikeouts. 5 command isn't the highest, but it's very, very serviceable. 100%. 17 outs. Only a 1 to 2 strikeout range. So for being on a team called the Strikeouts, he doesn't have a huge range. But that's okay because his ground, like having a 3 through 10 ground ball range is a lot better, I think, especially with such a good defense. It'll be the 3, 4, 5 hole hitters for the Broad Street Bats. Beltran is 2 for 3 today, a single and a double, with him scoring that double or getting an RBI double back in the third. This will be 5 versus 12 5 versus 12. Zerb is set, and a 14 will be good enough for the advantage. Beltran will ground the ball over to the shortstop Ripken Jr., who fires it to Harper, who makes the catch. 1 out. Santo is 0 for 2 with a walk. He had a huge inning-ending double play back in the 5th inning. 5 versus 12. And another 14 for Zerb, so he's just barely getting these advantages. And Santo grounds the ball over to the third baseman, Solano, who will get him out just in time. 2 away. The shortstop, Jimmy Rollins, is up. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. 5 versus 13. And that'll be a 20 total. And Rollins will swing, and that'll be a line drive caught by the third baseman, Solano. So Zerb is able to get the Broad Street Bats to go 1, 2, 3. Great inning there from Zerb. The Broad Street Bats will also go to their bullpen. So they have a couple options. 3 of them are fresh. And that would be Mesa, Lowe, and Bastardo are all fresh. Ladinsky is fatigued, so if he pitches, he just wouldn't be able to pitch next game. So ideally, you'd want to pitch a righty here. Mark Lowe has the 6th command with only 16 outs. You definitely want a righty here, as these guys are going to be a lot better against lefties. But Mesa will face... Yeah, we're going to go with Jose Mesa against the 4, 5, 6 hole hitters of the strikeouts. Mesa has a 4 command against right-handed hitters, but against switch hitters and lefties, he will have a 5 command. 18 outs for Mesa, and a +3 on the defense, so that battery, while it was like a 10 for when Gerrit Cole was out there, is now a 14, which is very important for the Broad Street Bats. Not that the strikeouts have a ton of guys you can steal, really only the one in Trout. So this will be a 5 versus 12. For the left fielder, Colton Cowser, he is 2 for 3. 5 versus 12. The pitch from Mesa will be a maximum. And Cowser will hit a line drive over to the first baseman, Brian Banks, who hangs on for out number 1. First baseman Bryce Harper is up next. This will be a 5 versus 11. Harper is 1 for 3 with a double. 5 versus 11, advantage Mesa. And Harper will hit a line drive over to Banks as well for the second out of the inning. 4 versus 12 as the third baseman Solano comes up. He's 2 for 3. 4 versus 12. And 17 total for Mesa. And Solano swings and misses. So a 1-2-3 inning for Mesa will take us to the top of the 9th inning. The ball game is tied 1-1. The strikeouts will turn to their bullpen yet again. They will need to face the 6, 7, and 8 hole hitters for the Broad Street Bats. And I think they're going to go to Kevin. Well, they don't really want to face a righty because that'd be worse, but they really want Ginkel to face the top of the lineup. I feel like they'd rather have the bigger command of King for that. So they're going to go Ginkel more towards the bottom of the lineup. He should be able to get the outs that he needs to. And something to always keep in mind is we're getting closer to the starting pitcher 4 and 5, who most teams won't have as good of pitchers for those. And so the bullpen is going to be taxed a lot heavier than it has been for most of these teams. So it's very important that a lot of these games don't go to extras and they use a lot of arms. Ginkel is a 4-command pitcher. He has 18 outs, so against lefties and switch hitters, he'll have a 4, but against right-handers, he'll have a 5-command. He is set after throwing his warm-up pitches. He will face the first baseman, Banks, who's 0 for 3, so this will be a 4 versus 12. Ginkel's pitch will be a 13 total, so he just gets the advantage. We've seen that so often today. And the swing from Banks will be a ground ball over to the second baseman, who picks it up and throws it over to Harper at first, and that is out number 1. Frelick comes up next. He's 1 for 3, so it'll be a 4 versus 12. Ginkel is set. He delivers, and that's a 2, so advantage Frelick. Frelick's swing is a single out in the right field, and he will be aboard with 1 out. Now do they bunt here? This would be a 4 versus 12. Bailey's speed isn't the best. Could try to steal. 12 versus 23. I'd rather bunt, though. Leave it up to Lofton to maybe get a single. But 18 outs is tough. I think they got to try to sack bunt. Bailey's going to be asked to lay down the sacrifice bunt here, and 20 straight off rip. We'll put Frelick on second with 2 outs. Outfield does have to move in as Lofton, the DH, comes up. This will be a 5 versus 10. Lofton has flied out all 3 times he's been up. 5 versus 10, and he just gets the advantage. Lofton's swing is a ground ball over to the third baseman, Donovan Solano, who gets the ball and tosses it over to first. 3 outs. We head to the bottom of the 9th as the Strikeouts have the opportunity for a walk-off win and their first win of the season, potentially, as the Broad Street Bats go back to their bullpen. They'll face the bottom of the order, which Mark Lowe is going to take that responsibility, because if this goes to extras, you want Antonio Bastardo to face that dangerous top of the lineup, who definitely are not as good against lefties other than Molina. Cowser takes a big hit. Trout takes a big hit. So Mark Lowe will be the new pitcher for the Broad Street Bats. 6 command. A 1-2 mistake pitch range, so he is liable to throw more of those. Only 1 defense, so the battery is down to a 12 from the 14. Again, not that the strikeouts steal a lot. It will be the 7, 8, 9 hole hitters. And Toglia is 0 for 3 today. This will be 6 versus 10. Lowe is set. He throws a 19 is his advantage. Toglia will swing, and that'll be a strikeout for Mark Lowe. 1 away here in the bottom of the 9th. 6 versus 11 as the DH Lopez is up. He is also 0 for 3 today. Lowe is set. He delivers, and advantage Lopez. Lopez will watch as ball 4 goes by, and that is a runner on with 1 out. Baker will be a 6 versus 10. He's going to be asked to sacrifice bunt, as there's no need to do anything rash here. He will get the sacrifice bunt down. That 9-hole hitter, no matter who it's been for the Strikeouts, has actually gotten a hit every time, but the opportunity for your leadoff and most powerful batter coming up to the plate, I think you give, or one of, I guess Trout and Harper, very similar. Trout would be a tad better, I believe. No, Harper actually doubles at 15. Okay, well, regardless, the best one against righties. Trout is 3 for 4 today. Outfield does move in. 6 versus 13. Can the Strikeouts get a walk-off here? The advantage will be to Lowe, and almost a 20 for Trout, but he will ground out to the third baseman, Ron Santo, and Lowe is able to dance out of danger, and we are going to extras. Just what both teams wanted. We will have the Manfred runners on, so there will be a man on second starting every inning. It's going to take me a second to kind of move things around here, so just bear with me. As we go to the top of the 10th inning, Brian King will be the pitcher for the Strikeouts. He's really their last usable pitcher. And the Broad Street Bats basically only have one usable... Well, I guess they have Carmen Mladinsky if he would like to pitch, but then he would be tired the next game. But again, you need to get wins when you can. Brian King will face the leadoff batters for the Broad Street Bats of 1, 2, and 3 hole hitters. We're just looking to see if Scott is going to come in and pinch run for Lofton, and I believe he's going to. Because Lofton is in the DH spot, so he will move out as Scott comes in to pinch run on second base. King is a lefty. He's got a 1 mistake pitch range, a 1 through 6 strikeout range, which is great. 17 outs. He's a lefty, 6 command, and a +1 defense, so battery stays at 12. Outfield will be in here for the Strikeouts. This will be a 6 versus 13. And the pitch from King will be a 17 total. And Henderson will get a leadoff walk on the pitcher's chart. And this is where the fun happens. Do you let Utley bat because he's your 2-hole hitter? Or do you bunt him over in the hopes that with 2 outs you can get some of these other batters to do some damage or have a sac fly or anything? But with Utley's speed, they're going to let him bat. Utley is 1 for 3 with a walk and a single. This will be 6 versus 12. Outfield stays in. 6 versus 12, and I believe it's a 9. So a 15 total, and Utley will hit a fly ball out to right field, but the right fielder Toglia is there to make the grab. 1 away. Outfield remains in. Beltran 2 for 4. 6 versus 12. And, a mistake pitch by Brian King. Oh, dear. The red die hasn't produced too much, though, so far. We'll do a for funsies one if this doesn't work. And a 13 from Beltran is just enough for a single. So now we have a decision to make. The outfield for the Strikeouts is an 11. So this would be an 11 versus 22. There isn't anybody, or there is 1 out with Santo coming up next. Ugh, but Santo's not that fast. Their infield's worse. Just send them. Just send them. Try it. 11 versus 22. This one into left field, so that is Colton Cowser. Colton Cowser, 11 versus 22. The throw home is in time, and oh my word. This game. 2 outs. Everyone's just getting thrown out left and right. What a throw from Cowser. 2 outs now. Outfield stays in. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like you had to. 50-50 shot. Your bullpens are getting worse. A 19 from King locks it in. And Santo will hit a ground ball. And so he probably would have hit into a double play anyway. So Brian King escapes the damage. I don't know. Maybe I'm just really mismanaging those situations, but I feel like it's hard. Like, who knows what would have happened. And Antonio Bastardo will be the pitcher for the Broad Street Bats. He is, again, one of the only real usable pitchers left for them. That is fresh, at least. But it makes sense, as he's going to be facing the 2, 3, and 4 hole hitters in Ripken Jr., Molina, and Cowser. Now, if he gets down to the Harper, Solano, Taglia area, he will be in trouble. But if that happens, that means the strikeouts probably scored, and it probably ended the game already. Anyway, we are in the bottom of the 10th. The runner is Trout at second. He's got a 25 rating, so it's going to be tough for the Broad Street Bats to even throw him out with the outfield in. But the outfield will be in. 6 versus 12 here. Ripken so far is 1 for 4 on the day. 6 versus 12. Advantage Bastardo. He can only give up. That's a ground ball. So he will be, Ripken will be out for 1 away. I guess they could choose to move him over to third, but for the sake of the other team didn't do that. Won't do that. Bastardo does have 18 outs, and a 19 and 20 are walks. So the only way that the other team can get a single even is on their own chart, not the pitcher's chart. 2 outs now. Molina is 0 for 4. 6 versus 13. Outfield stays in. Almost a mistake pitch, but this is advantage Molina. Molina's swing is a 9, and a 9 is a single. Oh, brother. A single. And, oh my gosh, a 12 versus 25. They have to send, they have to send him. This needs to be a walk-off. So left field is again, that's not Frelick. Who's in the left field? That is Ricky Henderson, another Gold Glover. 12 versus 25. Trout's been thrown out at home before. 12 versus 25 on the throw, and it's not enough. Trout slides under the tag, and that's a walk-off single for Molina, and the strikeouts are going to get their first win of the season. As Bastardo gives up the advantage to Molina. Wow. What a performance. What a game from both of these sides. The strikeouts are able to get their first win of the season in dramatic fashion as they get a walk-off single from Yadier Molina, and I would have to look, but that might have been his very first hit of the season. It honestly really might be. I'd have to go look at that. Wow. So that's going to improve both of those teams to 1 and 2. And what an epic game. I just feel like we've had so many good games between these teams. And I talked about batter chart outs. There was 19 advantages in this game and only 3 outs. There's an insane amount of pitcher chart hits, too. 11 pitcher chart hits. I feel like that's kind of wild. And let's see if we can find a player of the game. And I'm trying to think of if there's anybody that really super stands out. And I think this one will make sense. As we look at the winning and losing pitchers here. In the 10-inning game between the Broad Street Bats and the Strikeouts, we have a final of 2-1 in favor of the Strikeouts. The winning pitcher is going to be Brian King as he pitched in the top of the 10th. The losing pitcher will be Antonio Bastardo. He's not charged with the run, as that was the Inherited runner, the Manfred runner there. And then your player of the game is going to be Yadier Molina, since he got the walk-off RBI single. I guess you could give it to Trout, since he was 3 for 5 with singles, but he didn't score at all, and he got caught stealing. I guess he scored at the very end. So that's a lie. I'm an idiot. So I guess he did have a run scored, but scored the winning run. I don't know. I think it's worth giving it to Molina, in my opinion. So that is a 10-inning game. That's the Broad Street Bats. Oh, no. That's the Strikeouts second extra inning game, which that's actually kind of crazy. I'm glad they were able to pick up their first win, though. I think that's exciting. So standings-wise, that ties up a lot of things there, closer to the bottom. And our next game set will be the Clean Cleats versus the Bash Bros. The Clean Cleats are 1-1. The Bash Bros are undefeated at 2-0. They've been scoring a lot of games. Scoring a lot of runs. And as of right now, the Bash Bros are leading at 2-0 in the standings. The Base Bandits are 2-1. Clean Cleats are 1-1. So we could have a tie at 2-1 for the top 3 teams in the division. And then it would go the Broad Street Bats at 1-2. The Shiny Squad at 1-2. And then the Strikeouts are still in last because the run differential is a -5. Shiny Squad's -3. The Broad Street Bats is a +4. So that would technically move those around. But thanks for sticking around. A little bit of a longer one, but that's because of the extra inning. And we will see you next time for the SBL 25 season. See ya.